Can you say friends, talking, nerdy? Close enough.
If your friends are nerdy and you are nerdy too, I want to talk to you. Friends Talking Nerdy.
Welcome to Friends Talking Nerdy. This is Tim the Nerd, and seated next to me we have a very relaxed Professor Aubrey, and this week we're going to be talking about something I've done a few times in my life, and that's overreacting on something.
Really?
Yeah, only a few times.
You're kidding.
I'm usually pretty mellow and calm and chill and think things through logically and don't have super emotional responses or anything like that most of the time.
Well, that's good. I mean, you are a very calm person. You certainly don't let any freaking out you might be doing show.
Yeah. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And if you believe that, folks, we got a great thing to tell you. Anyway, overreacting, everybody is absolutely guilty of it at some point in their life. It's one of those things that you will experience when you are a human being, and the important thing is, I think, to be able to, at times, self-reflect about the situation that you're currently experiencing and think, did I overreact on that particular situation? Because more than anything, like, the older I get, the more I realize the importance of trying your absolute best to learn from your past so you don't repeat the same damn mistakes, because it is, believe it or not, very easy to. Like, think of how many people have complained about, I always keep finding the same type of people in the relationships that I'm in. You know, I mean...
Or I keep having terrible bosses, or I keep, not having successful relationships, or whatever.
Exactly. Self-reflection is definitely important, and one way that people do it in this technology funland that we call America is via social media or public websites like Reddit.
That's right. Sort of crowdsourcing advice.
Exactly, depending, of course, on the type. I mean, but Reddit has all kinds of wacky, rated G or rated triple X type of topics you can.
Yeah, basically anything under the sun. Like if you were into, gray mules, there's probably a Reddit for gray mules.
That's hardcore.
Like, how ridiculous would that be?
There are mules and they're gray.
What does it say?
Come on. What are you gonna do? Make it red? Then it wouldn't be a gray mule.
Okay, so what's a good example?
I hate gray mules. Anyway, does that make me bad? I don't know.
Okay, but here we're looking at the Reddit for Am I Overreacting?
Yes, and what we're going to do is similar to other episodes that we've done where we dived into the pages of Reddit. We're going to read the story that individuals have written via Reddit, and, full disclaimer, there's always a possibility that some of these stories could be fake, but the stories that we chose, even if they are fiction, I think are speak enough to the human experience that even if they are fiction, they're not talking like having like full-blown relationships with like, aliens or ghosts or anything like that,
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
Really high bar there. But anyway, how about I dive into my list here and read the first story?
Yeah, please.
This is called, Am I Overreacting to What My Boyfriend Did During Sex?
Uh-oh.
Ooh. This same issue has happened twice, so I'm seeking some advice as I don't know how to feel. A few months ago, my boyfriend tried to initiate sex with me while I was on my period, and I said no, because as I've said to him multiple times, I don't like having sex on my period because I don't feel well, and I find it generally gross. I didn't immediately get out of bed or stop cuddling him because I was enjoying the intimacy, but I thought I was clear I didn't want to have sex because I had stomachache. I thought we were on the same page and both just enjoying being close, but then my boyfriend, who was clearly just horny, asked again, please, can I just use your thighs? So basically just to get himself off using my body. This really upset me because I felt like a passive object. I had clearly said no and I wasn't feeling well. I feel like in that moment he chose his pleasure over my well-being. It might be a minor thing, but it's not the first time it has happened. About a year ago, when we were having sex, I asked to stop because I was feeling weird and zoned out. We stopped, but once again, I didn't move away, stopped cuddling because I liked being close, but my boyfriend misunderstood and then tried to put himself back inside me. I immediately told him to stop, and what the fuck was he doing? But I just felt disgusted and weirdly violated after that. We talked about it, and it was a misunderstanding. He thought I was done, but didn't mind him continuing if he wasn't done. But the fact that he did a similar thing, again, makes me feel completely disregarded. Am I overreacting? One time is a misunderstanding, but I'm starting to wonder if he actually sees me as a person, if he feels so entitled to use me. He knows I've had some bad sexual experiences in the past, so presumably should know how hurtful it is for me to feel like an object. Well, well, well. I don't think this person is overreacting at all. At all. I think the first example that they brought up, I think there could be the first example in terms of, her saying no to sex during the period, but he kept on, come on, can I just do this? Like, I can kind of see where that wasn't necessarily as horrible, as the second example, right? To where because if someone is in the mood, and especially too, we don't know the ages of the people in question, but definitely if you're somewhat younger, it could just be like you're in the mood and hey, but I think
that's exactly what's going on, and that's what's not okay. Like, your horniness does not give you the right to treat somebody else like an object. And if they had had a conversation ever in which she expressed she did not like to have sex on her period, he should know that and never approach her for sex because she's on her period.
100%.
And so the fact that he did shows that he's an asshole, and she ought to break up with him.
We went from overreacting to asshole territory here. And look, I get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not disagreeing with anything you said there. I guess what I'm saying is, like, there could be, for the first example she brought up, there could be an explanation that isn't as sinister. But I think with the second example she brought up, that shows that shows something about him. It's not a one-time thing. Even if it's only a second time thing, that is not something that should ever become a second time thing.
Yeah, I mean, we going back to no means no? Like, are we going back to the Middle Ages when women were property of men? No, we're not going to go there. And I think, I hope that is the advice that she's getting.
I hope so too. I mean, that's definitely what I would say at the end of the day too. Like, if you feel that you can continue on with this person, there needs to be some really heavy conversations, because at the end of the day, like, no does mean no. Like, if you're in a committed relationship, it's like, if like you're in an intimate situation and you want to put the moves on, that's great and all, but at the end of the day, if you're just continuing to do it and the person saying no, that's disrespectful, that's wrong, that's just bad,
that's rape.
Yeah, shoot your shot. But if no enters the question, you're done. You can finish off yourself. I mean,
seriously, like, it's not anybody else's job to finish you off. If that's something that you need, you are perfectly capable of supplying that for yourself.
Exactly. I mean, and it's like, if from the sounds of it, it sounds like the guy didn't even. Well, he asked about the thigh, I guess, but like, what the fuck is that? Like, is he starting a campfire with his dick on her thigh or something like that?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to judge because I think there are people who are into the idea of rubbing their genitals on somebody else's body.
Yeah, it's just that, to your point, has to have full, unequivocal,
Right, right,
unanimous
right.
consent.
But I'm not using the action itself. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
No,
it wasn't the action, it was the fact that he was continuing to do it and continuing to try to needle his way into something that she had clearly said no to already.
yeah, because yeah, exactly. I mean, it would be one thing if, like, she said, "I don't want sex, but I can do this for you to help." That's her giving consent. Him having to say, "Can I at least get your big toe?" No.
Right, because it's manipulative.
Yeah, because even if she ultimately, agreed with him and said, "Fine, get it done," that can't be the most sexiest thing in the world, right? you know?
Right, it's weird that he would like that. I mean, it says a lot about him, most of which I do not want to unpack.
Yeah, like if this were my daughter writing this, I would tell her just leave that person right away. But realistically speaking, like if we're talking about two people, if this woman does love this man and wants to have it continue, then they really need to have a deep conversation and therapy too. I think therapy for the guy at the very least would be in order here because yeah,
Yeah, and I think the chances of that happening are pretty slim.
pretty s- pretty slim. But again, if he truly does love her and she puts that boundary into place, then he would go for it. And if not, her question's answered. Unless you have anything else to say, how about you dive into your first overreacting story, or shall I overreact?
I am going to start with, am I overreacting? I'm upset that my girlfriend went to Burning Man and can't get over it.
I did not write this.
So, my 31 male girlfriend, 26 female, has always been a bit of a hippie. She loves things like astrology, spirituality, and loves attending music festivals. I'm less of a hippie. I prefer things like camping, cottaging, and sports to that kind of stuff, but I've always found my girlfriend's interests adorable. Now, one of the festivals she loves to go to is Burning Man. From what I saw online, it's less of a music festival and more of a sex fueled rager in the desert where people walk around nude and have orgies.
Well, it's true, but anyway.
Oh my God. Obviously, I'm not comfortable with this, and I told my girlfriend that I would pay the cost of her ticket if she skipped this year. She did not attend last year as my brother was getting married and the dates conflicted. She said that the total cost would be in the thousands as she spends a lot of money on a theme camp and could not let her campmates down. So she ended up going, barely kept me updated, and for nearly 2 weeks I sat around thinking about her having stinky orgies with randos in the desert. Once she came back, she acted like nothing was up and that I should accept that she attends the festival and should trust her not to be unfaithful. I just cannot get over this. I wanted to propose, but it's embarrassing, and my family is also now soured on her when I mentioned to them that she went to Burning Man. I told her that I'm still angry after a couple weeks of the silent treatment, and she had the audacity to get mad at me for not supporting her art. What art? She literally works as an actuary and left our apartment. She offered to have me come next year, but I can't imagine myself there as it isn't my scene. So, Reddit, am I overreacting for being upset that my girl decided to ditch me for a gross hippie rager? My parents and brother fully support me, but a couple of mutual friends, all girls, have sided with her and said that I'm being controlling, so I'm second guessing myself a little.
I would say he is. Like the one thing that stuck to me as someone who has a partner who's been to Burning Man a few years, is the fact that he mentioned like not being in contact with her during the 2 weeks that she was there. And it's just like she's in the fucking desert with no cell signal, with thousands of other people with no cell service as well. Of course, she will not be able to contact you. And why should she have to check in? It's like, yeah, like like, we've talked about it before, like like the instance to where the rainstorm occurred and Burning Man was in the news that one year. Like, I was, speaking for myself, I was like, I was concerned. I, know that you're, handy enough that you would have survived, no matter what. Obviously, you did. But, a situation like that, it would have been cool if there was service. But again, it's the fucking desert, and I also, too, when it comes to her going to that, it's like this guy's perception of Burning Man as being the orgy thing. And yeah, I joked around, but to tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure there are a few orgies that do occur.
Of course.
Yes. But if she says she,
There are 75,000 people. They don't all go to orgies. I don't even know where the orgies are.
yeah.
There are so many other things to do, like ride your bike and look at art and work for the man, watch the man burn, etc.
Exactly. And like, if I think he definitely is on the controlling side on this one. It's just like he doesn't know where she's at. He has his own misconceptions about what Burning Man is, and won't go out of his way to see if those misconceptions have any sort of truth to them. Too, and I'm not saying he should go to Burning Man himself, because, like, if you understand, if it's something that the red flags start going off in your head and you instantly know that it's not your scene, then that's cool. Like, respect that. But at the very least, if you do have someone in your life that is interested in it, learn a little bit about it. I mean, because gosh, we did a whole episode in the archive about it. So I learned enough about it, and like, I, I think he's being a tad controlling here, and um, I think that's affected his trust levels as well, because like, why would he instantly go to, why would his head go straight to, she's going to participate in all the orgies and then come back? Like, why go there?
Yeah. Why would you think that would happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a patronizing prick. And he definitely is overreacting because he doesn't have a right to react, period. Dude, get over yourself. And the fact that he called her hobbies adorable, we don't know what the rest of them are. He mentioned some things like spirituality.
Right.
Adorable.
Like he's patting her on the head.
Right. Like that's really respectful of somebody's life, basically.
Yeah, yeah. So he's definitely overreacting. From the sounds of it, do I think this is the type of person who would, listen to people like us stating you are overreacting and should chill out? I don't get the impression he would, and I don't think that says good things about the relationship going forward long term, because if, as mentioned in the post himself, it sounds like this woman in question, like the previous year, made sure she did not go to Burning Man because there was a personal thing that, affected him in a positive way that she went to. His family member's wedding. And like, yeah, like if they split, it'll be good for her.
It will be, because maybe she does not realize that being with someone who doesn't give you the freedom to be yourself is gonna fuck you up for a long time. And you ought to, and at the end of the day, the relationship is not going to go well. You're going to break up, and you will have given up something that you love for the sake of this guy who sounds like a total prick. I'm not saying in other relationships with other people that you continue to have relationships and friendships with, like, let's say you broke up and you're still good friends.
Yeah, but at the very least, the guy can say his mom told me he wasn't a total prick. And that's always a tough part too about like having close people like that to you that you tell your side of the story to. You don't always remember in the moment the idea that you are just doing that. You're telling your side of the story, and you're telling your side of the story to people that will be there to support you really no matter what, unless you talked about, hey, I just did a shootout at the mall.
Right.
And yeah, because like you'll have people that will come to your side, but then like like later, and yeah, this has happened to me before. Like you want to talk, but like, oh, this person did X, Y, and Z to me, but later you realize that they may have done X, Y, and Z because you did A, B, and C.
Mhm.
You didn't give people the full story, and yeah. Anyway, overreacting. He should definitely chill out, learn a little bit about what Burning Man is. That doesn't mean he has to go, but I think if he did take the time to actually understood what happens there, he would be a lot more comfortable and a lot more understanding. Because like the whole 2 weeks without being in contact, like again, she's in the fucking desert, no cell signal. Like,
It's one of the most remote places in the United States.
yeah, yeah, because like we're going to be talking about this by the time we end the show this week. I mean, you're going to Burning Man again, and when you go, you're going to be off the grid. I'm not going to be able to talk to you during that time.
That's right.
Yeah,
And so, not actually, like, there is some service at the beginning when I first get there, which is 2 weeks before the event. And as more and more people come, the bandwidth of the internet is just, it goes away.
yeah,
But there are a lot of people who have Starlink and things now.
yeah. Fucking Elon Musk
Mhm.
douchebag. Man.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Anyway, shall I go on with my next story?
Yes, please do.
This is, am I overreacting for kicking my boyfriend out after I found a hidden camera in my bedroom? No, you're not. The long answer.
Period. No matter what you did, it's not an overreaction.
Yeah. I, 25 female, have been with my boyfriend, 29 male, for a year. We don't live together, but he stays over often. Yesterday, while rearranging my bookshelf, I noticed a tiny black object tucked between the books. Turns out it was a small camera. I confronted him immediately, and he swore it wasn't what it looked like. He claimed it was a security camera because he worried about me when I'm home alone, but it was aimed directly at my bed, not my front door. I told him to get out and never come back. He's been begging me to talk, saying I've overreacted and that he only did it because he loves me and wants to protect me. My friends are split. Some say he crossed a huge boundary. Others say maybe I should hear him out before ending things. Am I overreacting for going full no contact immediately? Nope.
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 Do it. Do it.
It's like if it was a matter of security that he could have, said to her, "Hey, I'm concerned about your safety, and I would like to invest in some like ring cameras or something like that, a security camera that can keep you safe in your home." Have that conversation with her.
Yeah.
Not hide a.
Let her choose.
Yeah. Not hide a camera in a bookshelf aimed directly at her bed.
And plus, we're all assuming that he actually did it for that reason and not to spy on her and see if she was having sex with anybody else or watch her masturbate or whatever it is that you do in your bed.
Well, she, mentioned that, that's what he said. But come on. I mean, what type of reaction, for the sake of argument, let's say what she said this man said to her about why he did it is true. For the sake of argument.
Yeah.
How do you still justify not talking to her about this? So, like if it was truly about security, like I think it could have been a conversation they could have had, and to your point, given her the chance to say, sure, why not? It's your money. Or, no, I'm not comfortable with that. And then done. By doing it on the sly, if indeed what he said is true and he just did it for her safety, then Still fucking wrong. Do I believe him? Of course not. You don't hide a fucking camera aimed at somebody's bed unless you have some very bad things in mind. It's just creepy as hell.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's totally, totally weird and not okay.
Yeah. So, lady out there, you are not overreacting in any way, shape, or form. Don't invite this person back into your life again.
No.
Yeah.
In any way. Not even to say, let's talk one last time. I mean, what is it you're going to get out of that? Nothing.
Yeah, like it'll be another just stupid explanation, and I'm so
Yeah, you'll have to listen to some sad, some sob story, and he'll try to make you feel guilty and further manipulate you. And if you fall for it, he's just going to get worse and worse. He's going to just do more and more disturbing things. And there are lots of women who get killed by their partners.
Yeah. So you are not overreacting. So how about you dive in to your next choice?
Okay. Am I overreacting? My husband sent flowers to his coworker. A little about us. My husband and I have been married for 7 years. He works 5 hours away from home, and he's only off one day, and he comes home that day. We have 3 kids. The smallest one is 10 months, so I've been feeling insecure after delivery. He told me about his older coworker, that she was nice, and I was okay with it, but I started feeling insecure when he started deleting conversations with her and other friends. He says he only does it because I get mad at everything. When we went to visit him for a couple of days, I went through his email and found a message about his flowers being delivered to her. I went nuts and asked for a divorce. He stated he did it because she was sad a family member died and that I was overreacting. He says he now knows he did wrong and that he will stop the friendship. Am I overreacting by asking for a divorce? Well, do you want to say first or?
Sounds like you are eager to speak on this one.
Well, so this is a couple in which she sneaks around behind his back and reads his emails and shit. And he deletes his emails so that she won't see them. And, what else is it that he is said to have done here? Send a friend flowers because somebody died. And I don't know. I'm kind of on his side on this one. That, like, she's demonstrating how unreasonable she is. And asking this question for this whole scenario to come up, right? And for her to say things like she's gonna,
Divorce him.
she's gonna divorce him and went nuts, she says. And we don't know what that means. Went nuts. I kind of went nuts. I mean, that could describe a murder. That could also describe eating a bunch of brownies. Like, it has multiple meanings.
Throwing the dishes on the floor. It could be anything.
Yeah.
I think the key part of it was at the beginning of what she wrote. Talked about, their family. They had multiple kids, the youngest one being 10 months. She also talked about being insecure as well. And it's not a good mixture when you have two people that clearly it sounds like they're not communicating that well because, if this was a coworker that I'm sure he's probably talked about before, to his wife.
She says he did.
Yeah, it's like, in theory, you would think you would be able to say to your wife or husband or something like that, hey, my coworker had a family member pass away. I'm going to order them flowers. Like, what would be wrong with that? But he didn't have a conversation.
Right. And the fact that she has browbeaten him now to the point that he's begging for her to come back and promising he'll never, have a thought of his own or do anything on his own without her permission. Like, what kind of relationship is that going to be?
And yeah, and then if you are the type of person that will go through a partner's emails, text messages, or anything like that without their express written or verbal permission to you to go ahead and do that, you are 100% wrong. It doesn't matter what you find out by reading them, you are wrong. You are breaking a trust.
I think some things that you might find would justify that.
I mean, if we're talking about something illegal, I guess,
Yes.
like if you suspect that a romantic partner is like, harboring fugitives or, stealing hundreds of $1,000s from the bank, then something like that, I can look the other way at that particular one. But if it's just normal everyday life and because you're insecure and you feel your partner's not talking to you in a way that makes you feel comfortable, that somehow gives you the right to look through their stuff, that is what is wrong here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are there exceptions to the rule? Of course, there is with anything, because life is not about binary choices, but, she definitely needs some help. And also, too, with a 10-month-old kid, there's also the very serious consideration that maybe she's still going through some like postpartum depression, because yeah,
Well, the thing that belies that, though, is she says he, he got a new job or something and met this person and basically asked her if he could be friends with this person. And she said yes, and that was fine. Like the whole construct of he comes to her and says, I have a coworker and they're friendly. Can I be friends with them? And her expecting to be asked the question, her thinking that she's entitled to that from another person,
yeah, I mean,
another adult.
I get your point there because, again, we're talking about work friends, right? And it sounds like, too, like if this woman who wrote this post was just honest and, said, hey, I'm feeling a little insecure lately. Is there something that we can work on to help me get through this? Or even saying, hey, I'm feeling insecure lately. It would help if you did X, Y, and Z, or, in terms of talking to me about stuff, or, just,
Or I'm feeling jealous.
yes.
If you don't like that he bought the flowers, why not have a conversation about why that bothered you and what could be done to avoid that happening in the future?
Yeah.
Or do you need to change your perspective? Like, have a conversation about it. Don't think that you get to be in control.
Yeah, don't try to.
Or don't be in a relationship. Like, if you need to be in control, don't be in a relationship.
Yeah, until we get, AI-driven cybernetics that allow you to, have a romantic partner that you can fully control. You have to be able to work with, the people that you're in a relationship with. And if, it's again, it should have been a little thing. The whole thing of, telling her husband, I'm feeling insecure lately.
Yeah.
If she had said that, then, as a guy, if I had a partner tell me that, I would be like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Okay, I can do this, and this, and help out from there. And also too, knowing that could make the guy go, oh, okay, that's why you did X, Y, and Z. Okay, I'm sorry, I should have done this, blah blah blah, type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
But the woman was not giving him the chance. She was looking for something to blow up on, and she got it.
Yep.
Yep. Well, shall I go on to the next choice?
All right. So she was overreacting.
Yes, overreacting quite well.
Yes. Let's hear your next one.
All right, my next one here. Am I overreacting? Husband decided to get on his phone in the middle of sex. So this evening when we went to bed, my husband initiated a quickie, so I go grab my vibrator. We were on our side spooning with him behind me. We start having sex in this position, and at this moment I am using the vibrator. He stops thrusting as he has always been very good at letting me get off first. I am in my moment, eyes closed, really getting into it. After a while, I realize he's very still, so I open my eyes and look behind at him, and he's there scrolling on his phone. I asked what he was doing, and he said, I was just scrolling the news, and tells me I am making a much bigger deal out of the situation than it is. It did pretty much kill the mood for me, and honestly, it would have been better if he were watching porn. Also made me wonder how many other times he has done this and I hadn't noticed. Why even initiate sex if you're going to act that bored, you have to stare at your phone? Or is he right and I'm making a bigger deal out of it than it is? Do I think this woman is overreacting? Honestly, I don't. I think she has a right to be pissed on this one. You know, like, if he has she said herself in what she wrote that he has a history of, going out of his way to make sure she, reaches orgasm first. And that's great and all, but like, you don't have to be on your phone looking at the news while she does that, right? Like, you can help, or even if, or just like if she's
Like maybe not be reading the news.
yeah, maybe not read the news, like just like rub it on an arm while she's going at it, or even just like look at her with a smile or something. It's like if you're the one who initiated the sex and this is how things normally go, in terms of, you want, partner A to get off first, then you go along with it, because you're doing something else. While they're finishing is not going to make them, super eager to want to help you out by when it's your turn.
This whole situation, I just don't even think it needs to be discussed as much as that, as much as you just have this is another zinger for me. No way would that be okay with me. Like, there's no way that that's okay. Like, you cannot justify it in any way.
No, you're right. You cannot justify it. I mean, and
I know that's not what you said.
yeah, and I know there are definitely situations to where, someone gets an emergency text or an emergency email, but something like that, you communicate that. If your partner does get lots of emails or lots of text for like work related stuff, for instance, and it happens during a time that you're trying to get intimate, then they do have a right to get the phone if they so choose and communicate that. But if they put the phone on silent and, they're going through everything and then they decide to just grab their phone, like, no, that's wrong. You're the one who initiated it. If you didn't want to participate, why initiate? Because she could have just used the vibrator on her own.
She probably would have had a better time.
Probably, from the sounds of it.
Yeah, well, that's all a lot of hullabaloo.
Yeah. So she did not overreact.
I don't think she overreacted. I mean, seriously?
Yeah.
Seriously. Like, he really did that.
Yeah, and we're talking the news. Like, how often does news really change to where you need to see it? I mean, too many people are, thanks to the 24-hour news cycle, thanks to cable news and all that, people have had this notion of, we must always see what's next, what's next, what's next. And a lot of time there's nothing next that's going on. It's just the same old shit, So like, if you are initiating sex with your partner, don't look at the news. Don't be a dick.
Don't look at anything but your partner.
Or as the person who wrote it indicated, like, sounds like if the guy was like watching porn, she wouldn't have been upset.
Well, no, she said it was worse than if he was watching porn.
Uh,
I don't think she said it would have been fine if he was watching porn.
no, it did pretty much kill the mood for me, and honestly, it would have been much better if he was watching porn.
It would have been better. She doesn't say it would have been okay with me. Like, she's saying this was the most heinous thing that could happen.
Yeah.
It would have been better, if you can believe it, it would have been better if he was watching porn. Not, I really, am okay with that.
Yeah, because like he made that choice on his own without doing something like, hey, shall I find a porn to set the mood, or something like that. And because at that point he is asking, can I do this? But that's yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, consent. Wow.
yeah,
It's a beautiful thing.
yeah. How about you dive into your last story?
Okay, my last story. Here we go. Am I overreacting or is my fiance cheating on me at work? I'm fairly successful, leading my fiance to have no reason to work. But she is an ambitious go getter who wants to stay busy with even the silliest job she said she wanted to work all her life. As of late, she has been gone a lot and tells me nothing about her work aside from when she's going, but she comes home at random times. She started going on business trips, which I think is weird due to her place of employment being Waffle House. She is a line cook and has no reason to even leave the building on work hours, but she claims she's going to get promoted and needs to attend these things to secure her spot. She has been hiding her phone and turns off her location whenever she goes on these trips, claiming it is confidential for the Waffle House business, and she will fill me in on all the little secrets when she's finally promoted. I don't like this, and I feel like confronting her as soon as possible.
He's not overreacting at all. It's like yeah, like
I thought he was overreacting until he said she was the line cook at Waffle House. It was like, I'm just saying, like, really? You were going on business trips? To where? Like, where's the Waffle House headquarters? Or, like, they're having a conference or somewhere, Waffle House employees?
yeah, in Dothan, Alabama, right? Yeah, like yeah, he's not overreacting at all. This is just highly suspicious stuff for especially for the type of job that she has. Like if she were like a military contractor dealing with like top secret information, then it would be understandable that there would be some things that she would not be able to share. But like, is there like some sort of Waffle House ninjas that will go after you if you tell somebody, what they put in, the, chicken and waffle recipe? You don't dare tell them there's paprika in there. you know,
Yeah, so weird, right?
yeah. It's just why do people gotta lie to that extent? Like, and then they get caught.
Confidential to Waffle House. Her location was confidential to the Waffle House, meaning that she was never going to tell him where it took place. Like, really?
Yeah, yeah, like, yeah. He's not overreacting. He needs to leave, and hopefully, from the sounds of it, it sounds like they were not married. So hopefully, they never have kids, and he can just leave and never have to see that human being again.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be great.
All right. Shall I wrap up with one more story?
Yeah, let's have one more.
All right. Am I overreacting for almost breaking up with my girlfriend after she complained about layovers on first class flights I booked? So no more sex stories, Colleen. Anyway. So I, 29 male, surprised my girlfriend, 27 female, with international first class tickets I managed to book literally one day before departure using my points. Because we're in Prague right now and she wants to go back home, we're talking lie flat seats, champagne, the works. When I showed her the itinerary, instead of being excited, she immediately started complaining about the layovers. Why do we have to stop in 3 different cities? That's going to be exhausting. Couldn't you find direct flights? I was honestly shocked. Do you know how hard it is to find any first class availability on such short notice, let alone with points? I spent hours trying to make this work and saved us thousands of dollars. I got pretty upset and told her she was being ungrateful. The arguments escalated and I almost ended things right there. She thinks I'm massively overreacting and should have expected some feedback on the itinerary. But like, first class international tickets on one day's notice with points. Am I overreacting for thinking this shows a fundamental lack of appreciation and almost breaking up over it? Like, TF.
TF, dude. This one's tough.
It's tough because, like, on the one hand, like, he's right. First class tickets, everything that works. That is stuff that does not just happen, on a day's notice. Like, if you were able to snag something like that, great. And, I'm frugal enough to, understand that, if you are able to get a deal of some sort like that, even if that means having to go to a couple of different layovers, you just appreciate the fact that you're getting all of these extra benefits at the last possible minute.
And you get to go home tomorrow, which is what you wanted.
Yes.
When obviously that was not what was planned. So already you're getting something extra and nice. And I kind of think that I'm coming down on he's not overreacting because it seems like set up where she should have been grateful to him to begin with. And then he does this other thing for her. Like, and I imagine just hours on the computer looking for the right flights. And he produces. And if she continues to be ungrateful, I would probably be mad too.
Yeah.
Like, the other side of the coin is that, she needs to consent to whatever's happening, and maybe he shouldn't have made the decision without consulting her first. That's fair. Like, I don't think it's more important to have a surprise than it is to communicate about what the surprise is.
Yeah, and I think of things too, like in terms of like extenuating circumstances. Like, I think, you know, for someone like me, for instance, being like 6'5" on a plane, even in like a first class seat, it's not going to be the most comfortable thing in the world. So, going from having multiple different stops along the way could lead to like back pain or something like that. Legitimate stuff to consider, but then again, I'm also the person that would celebrate, being able to get something like first class tickets at the last freaking moment. And, why not enjoy the hell out of that? If he's used points to get them, that means it's money that is not coming out of their pocket.
No.
At all. So why not just enjoy it? And if the layover is making you miserable, from the sounds of it, you're getting champagne, drink a little champagne.
Yeah, I mean, just chill. TF. Out.
Yeah. The fuck? So overall, I don't think he's overreacting. Maybe with the caveat that, with the research that he was doing, maybe he could have spoke to her more about it. Like, hey, I'm finding this, would this be good for you? What if we did this? What if we did this? Because then, that could potentially give her a chance to say, maybe not. And, go okay from there instead of just booking it and then going. So I can at least give her that. But, at the end of the day, first class ticket's a first class ticket. You enjoy it.
Yeah, and it's true that I really like first class and that I used all my points to upgrade my international flight to first class when I went to Korea. And it was amazing. And I really had a good time. So I love it. Other people may feel like tortured to be on an airplane and be traveling for a whole day and have to be in airports for hours at a time. But in those airports, they have first class lounges with massage chairs and free food and free booze and, first class lounges.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get that, if she was like afraid of flying, she had some like genuine.
But if they were in Prague, it sounds like, again, this is just me assuming because it wasn't directly written in there. I assume that this couple is an American couple. They're already vacationing in Prague, but he, did the last minute homework to find them a way home first class. And
I think he was just trying to find them a way home because sometimes the tickets that are left are only the first class tickets.
Yeah. Well, anyway, not overreacting, but they definitely need to communicate more.
They need not to go on international vacations where somebody's going to pitch fit and want to go home the next day.
I don't want to be here.
I don't want to go on first class. I mean, she does sound whiny.
Yeah, I've had exes like that. I'm glad they're exes. Anyway, future Tim will edit that out. Well, that was Am I Overreacting from our friends over at Reddit. It's definitely a subreddit I think we can visit again at some point.
Yeah.
Exactly. Any other thoughts about the stories that we've read or the Overreacting subreddit in general?
Well, I feel like it made me overreact a couple of times.
Okay.
Just, as somebody who has really studied relationships, I sure can recognize bad relationship hygiene that other people are doing. I don't recognize it in myself, but I see it in everyone because I know all about it because I've read every book, I've been in therapy for years, etc. So it's easy for me, right, to judge.
For me, I like being able to feel good about myself knowing that other people are somehow worse.
Well, there's always that.
Yeah, so pat myself on the back. I'm a good person. Well, anyway, before we wrap things up this week, as we record this, the WWE announced today that they have signed a $1 billion plus deal with ESPN to have them starting in 2026 to be the sole provider of WWE premium live events.
Wow.
Yes, this kind of coincides with the announcement that ESPN is going to have a new streaming app.
Mm.
Cable companies want to still be able to use the brands that people are aware of, which is why for something like on Paramount Plus, you'll definitely see MTV still a thing, VH1, Nickelodeon, even though those channels in and of themselves on a regular cable package aren't really watched that much anymore. And the thing is with the app in question, it's not even out yet. It's going to debut at the end of the month once football season starts. And it's going to be $29 a month.
Whoa.
Unless you are like, have a cable with some particular cable companies or like Verizon, for instance. Sometimes you'll have companies that can offer you a free add-on, like streaming service or something like that. And this definitely kind of changes the game of wrestling here in America because we are going back essentially to the old model of how things used to be done with professional wrestling. What do I mean? It was only in 2014 with the start of the WWE network that the pay-per-views, or what they're called now, premium live events, were included with that. The WWE network was $9.99 a month, and then when the WWE network disbanded and they moved everything over to Peacock, Peacock at their bare minimum was $7.99 a month. Whereas before 2014, you were paying 30, 40, 50 bucks for a pay-per-view if you wanted to watch that. AEW currently, from day one, has strictly done the pay-per-view method. They, do charge roughly 50 bucks. So, paying for a streaming app for 30 bucks a month is, definitely somewhat cheaper than that. But I can tell you for me, I'm not gonna miss the pay-per-views. like for as much as a wrestling fan as I am, I can only recall ever buying one WWE pay-per-view, and that was WrestleMania 17, and I was in my 20s at that point when it occurred, 2001. It wasn't that I wasn't interested in some of the other WrestleManias that happened in the past, but I knew that, back in the day at least, if a WrestleMania occurred within a month, either the VHS or the DVD of that event would hit the shelves. And also, I would already know the results because on the Monday Night Raw or SmackDown afterwards, they would say, X, Y, and Z happened at WrestleMania. And nowadays, with the technology we have, for any other either pay-per-view events or just regular TV shows, the big moments are already uploaded to YouTube within minutes of them actually happening.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there's not any streaming service that I can think of that would be worth the $30 a month. That I can think of. Now you may bring up something like YouTube Premium, but YouTube Premium you're getting a couple things in one.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me kind of evens it out. But just a streaming service for just sports, like the only reason I would even get that would be for, watching a wrestling pay-per-view. I'm not going to watch a football game or anything it's like, it's not that I dislike football, but I just don't have enough excitement to want to watch every game or, watch my favorite team every week or something like that. It's
Or
only,
watch it ever.
yeah, it's been years.
Yeah.
It has been years. So it's like for as much of a wrestling fan as I am, I'm not going to miss it. Now, what this tells me, too, is that, they're already kind of fragmenting where things are going because the Raw content is still being moved over to Netflix. The SmackDown content, I believe, is going to stay on the Peacock app because SmackDown is currently on the USA Network, which is owned by Comcast Universal, which owns the Peacock app and all that stuff. The CW has the NXT shows. So for free on the NXT app, I can watch NXT if I want. So that's going to be there. YouTube, they're loading up big time on a lot of classic content on their WWE Vault channel, their WCW channel. There's that. So like there is a lot. You're not losing anything here really except the chance to see this stuff live as it happens. And it's fun when there's actually an exciting event with a compelling storyline that you want to see and something interesting does happen, but that doesn't always happen for each and every pay-per-view. In this case, they're looking at 10 per year, and they're trying to move some of their bigger ones to 2-night events now. And like, I don't see this blowing up in their face or anything like that financially. They're going to get paid, but I don't think they're going to have as many people move from the Peacock side of things for, I believe they're $9.99 a month now for the very basic plan. They did bump the price up a couple of dollars. I don't think people are necessarily going to go from that to paying $30 a month.
Not for wrestling.
No.
Maybe some of those wacko football and basketball and baseball people.
But yeah, So essentially, we're going back to how things used to be, because back in the day it was, if you want to see this event, call your pay-per-view provider and order WrestleMania. And, that's what's going to start happening again. It's like, if you want to see WrestleMania, watch it on the ESPN app. But I can think of like, I think like the kids my age, that were young when the WWE app first hit in 2014, and now that they're, entering the adult realm, what was a norm for them is now going away and reverting back to what it was like when I was, their age.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's wrestling. It's not like, losing like medical treatments or something like that. So it's not the most important thing in the world that we're talking about here, but it will definitely change how I watch wrestling going forward. And like, as I said before, like with me, it's great to see stuff live, especially if you are pretty confident that something important is going to happen. But it's wrestling is about the moments, and the moments you can catch later and still be excited about them. Because they're like good Saturday Night Live sketches. You could always go back and have a good time.
Cool.
Exactly. I know you're super excited about that.
Well, I don't get it the way that you get it.
Yeah.
That's it.
This is silly. Why are they doing that?
No, it's not that. It's just
Not
when you said, I'll see the good parts later, and I was like, yeah, who needs to see them like grappling or smacking each other in the face or like some of the stuff that they do in between really cool moves?
I get that.
Like to get themselves organized. And then they show only the part where he's flying off the turnbuckle of the highest rung.
The fantastic moves, yes.
Right, the phantasmal moves. And then that's all you see. You don't have to watch the part where they're like trying to convince you that walking the guy over there and setting him up on the wire is actually something that would happen if they were trying to fight each other.
You're not fighting for real.
Here, let me help you. I'll put you up here. Now jump on me.
No, I get that. I would counter, but my counter is, only refers to very limited wrestlers these days, because it seems like a lot of the wrestlers, the younger they go, do think, to your point, that the whole point of wrestling is what they call high spots, like the jumping off the top rope, or, doing something spectacular. Everything needs to be that. But it's, to me, wrestling is all about the ebbs and flows. For the high impact moves to really hit with the audience, the low impact stuff needs to be just as effective. Not everybody can pull that off.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, definitely a changing of the guard. At the end of the day, billionaires are going to be making lots of money with this. So great. And, this will definitely mean I won't be watching too many pay-per-views starting, if any, starting in 2026. But there's still plenty of other wrestling options out there, thank goodness. Not only with what the WWE has to offer, and I say that too because they bought that Mexican wrestling promotion, AAA. And like the AAA is going to have basically their version of WrestleMania. They call it Triple Mania, but WWE is putting it live on their YouTube channel.
Oh.
So there's that. You got Billy
That'd be
Corgan's
fun to watch.
with the Luchadors. Yeah, there's one you may like called Mr. Iguana.
Mr. Iguana.
Yeah. But you also have Billy Corgan's NWA. They recently signed a contract with Roku, so their NWA Power Show is now on one of the live Roku channels.
Oh.
So there's plenty of wrestling out there. It's just disappointing that an era is coming to an end, and what was all in one little neat little bow called the WWE Network is now fragmented once again.
Yeah.
Anyway. Let's end on a positive note here. And yeah, the time is ticking because someone wants ice cream. How about, as we record this, you are about a week away from going to the middle of nowhere.
That's right. And as we've all, we talked about Burning Man earlier. So I'm just getting ready, packing all my stuff up, getting all my things that I need, and getting excited about going next week.
All right. Anything you're looking forward to?
Oh, tons of stuff.
And like the wild orgies.
I really it's beautiful out there. And it looks different than any place I've ever been in terms of the light. And so I'm looking forward to just being there again. I'm looking forward to seeing people I only get to see there. I'm looking forward to hopefully going to the Death Guild Thunderdome, which is, as you would expect, people fighting each other with like foam covered stuff inside a dome that people are up on the dome watching. It's very Mad Maxy.
All right.
It's I've never been, so I really want to go this year.
And I recall you bringing that up in the past when it comes to Burning Man, so it's definitely been something that's been there more than once.
Yeah. It's there every year.
All right. I thought you paid attention, Tim. Anyway.
I don't know if I've ever said that, but...
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm definitely excited that you're going to get this opportunity, and when you get back, you'll have plenty of stories for our friends at home to discuss.
That's right. Hopefully it will not be a story about how my bike catastrophically fails in the middle of Burning Man.
Yeah, brand new bike.
What happened last year.
Stupid bike.
Stupid bike. But I have a better bike this year. I'm taking it into the shop tomorrow to get all of the safety things looked at, get some things fixed, and then I'll be ready to go.
Well, good. Good. You look forward to this each and every year. This is like your pilgrimage that you go to, so I'm excited.
It's like New Year's.
New Year's in the desert with a bunch of naked people.
Like I said, there's 75,000 people there. Not all of them are naked.
Yeah.
I never walk around naked there.
Yeah. Just a quarter of them are. Anyway, I'm kidding.
It's Elon Musk.
Oh, God, no. Little teeny. Anyway, any other thoughts for our friends at home before we wrap things up?
No.
All right. Each Monday, we'll have something in this podcast space to entertain your ear holes. Until we meet again, we bid you adieu.
So long.
Now, rush off and go get that ice cream.
Okay.
Subscribe to Friends Talking Nerdy
On YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify,
or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Goodbye, darling.